Hi, my loves. Joy, my little girl from Runaway, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, I'm coming to you all with some commentary about this political fiasco we find ourselves in. Okay, sister. Before I hop into my commentary, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I greatly appreciate you helping us continue to build community. Now, listen. Before I get into what I have to say, I want to just put this disclaimer here, y'all. I am not a political analyst. I talk real regular. And just because you don't have the language or the verbiage to, express things in a way that's like, whatever, doesn't mean that you can't discuss it. Because I know exactly what the fuck is going on here. Okay. I have eyes and I can see. Joe Biden don't give a fuck. Okay. And he's making that abundantly clear during tonight's press conference that he called after the debate that happened 2 weeks ago or whatever the case. And it's just very apparent that he's not dropping out of this race against Donald Trump. Now, I'm not one to really kind of talk politics because honestly, like, girl, I really feel like as a whole, as a community, we got to save ourselves. And, that's a little, kind of conservative. The Conservative Party and the Republican Party always like to say, pull yourself up by the bootstrap. But the thing about it is, and us being in the Black community, like we have so many things that we need to work on. They need to work on not trying to infiltrate and do the type of things that they do when we get on. But there are things that we need to work on, like unrelated. But, these things still affect us. You know what I mean? These things affect the people that we love. You know what I'm saying? People who work public servant jobs, people who, our grandparents, like, whoever. I understand that while we're in this system, although I don't believe in the system, and if y'all know me, y'all know, you already know, like I'm not the, get out and vote and we're going to make a difference, because child, these political people are really not here to represent us in any state, form, fashion. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, but we're still here playing the game, child. So, with that being the case, why is this man holding on like this? Why is this man holding on like this? During tonight's press conference, okay, he was making very, very simple mistakes. I mean, he called Trump the vice president. I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president if I didn't think she was qualified to be the president. Like, what? What are we even talking about? You know what I'm saying? And he didn't correct himself. And then another big mistake that he made was calling the president of Ukraine President Putin. Now he did go back and correct that. Oh no, I ain't talking about President Putin. He's on my mind so much. I'm just trying to think about it. Like, what? Now, in all fairness, the man's name is President Voldemir. Shit, but Voldemort. President Putin is what Zelensky, and not to say it all like that to be, whatever, tomato, as far as I'm concerned. And, the president of Ukraine, he did do his big one and everything like this. Yeah. But he is hosting the NATO conference, the NATO summit. And this is really, really important. Like, don't get me wrong. I am no way, shape, or form in support of Trump. Okay? I am in no way, shape, or form in support of Donald Trump. And if you haven't done so already, I urge you all to look at Project 25. I heard that he's making some changes and amendments to it because it was coming off too harsh. I mean, he is talking about people having, monitors on period tracking apps and pregnancies and having to, go about monitoring a woman's pregnancy so far as to get cell phone data and information. People are saying, like, if you use Apple Health and you track your period that way, stop doing it now. And when asked about that, a representative from Trump's camp said, well, he never said that he's going to allow the states to do it. Now, when people start using language like that, that's just passing the buck, right? I'm going to give you the freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do. However, we know that certain states are historically more oppressive to people of color, more oppressive to women, and everything like this. So he's like, oh, I just feel like I'm going to make this a federal law for it to be up in the air. And, the people that like it, move to the state that you want. Like, nah. If that was the case, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the policies that we have wouldn't be in place if the federal government didn't intervene. I'm talking about civil rights, baby. It was the federal government that came down and cracked down and said, hey, no, segregation is unlawful. And so you have to abide by our federal rule, right? This is why you see in certain, back in the day, little things, you see the National Guard had to be called in. That's because the state was not obliging with the actual federal law. So by Trump saying, well, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying I'm going to give the states the decision to make, their own laws or to abide by that or not. But that's just like, I'm going to give the keys back I'm going to give the knife back to the murderer. I'm going to give the gun back to like, you don't do that. Because again, when you have these very Southern, very Christian nationalist states, we tend to see legislation that is going one against women, one against the LGBTQ, and definitely any person of color. So, I think that Trump is trash garbage, and I think that he has a real appeal to him, and he's marketable and he's likable because we are in this new era of digital currency and social media and social capital, and Trump can say the shit that people don't. But what y'all don't realize is Trump has influenced a lot of other politicians across the world. And one of the politicians being this guy here to the left, his name is Modi. And he's basically like the Donald Trump of India. He is using the same rhetoric, using, his faith and religion as a reason and a way to rule a country. He is infamously known for burning down Islamic mosques or masjids. He's done this it was like they had like a day. I want to compare it to like Crystal Knot, I guess. If y'all don't know what that is, it's basically like one of the nights in 1940 or 1930 or whatever, World War II, when the Nazi Party had came and to pretty much destroy all of the Jewish shops and banks and this, that, and the third, and literally burned it, torched it, and that was like the onset of like, yeah, now we really about to start turning up. And so he basically did the same thing. They're calling it something else in Hindu in the language. I don't really know what it is, but basically this man here is like inciting people to attack Muslim Indians. And I'm talking about, I've seen videos where these Muslims are prostrating in prayer and an Indian person is coming up to them, just kicking them, boom, in the face. And because he is leading with this type of legislation and inciting this type of violence, it's empowering people, emboldening people to do things that they wouldn't do otherwise. If they had a leadership that was fair to everyone that it was governing. Does that sound familiar? And Putin, I really don't have to say anything about his ass. So I want to just say one more thing about Modi, because this guy, I learned about this guy. It's amazing. They are associating, like, how we say make America great again for Trump. They are associating excavators to Modi, and literally they are using keychains and wearing t-shirts with the excavators, and they had a parade and the street was literally full of excavators, and people were inside of them and riding it, just like wildness, right? And that's really symbolic because they are literally just going through and bulldozing people's places of worship. Okay, y'all. So I know that a lot of people are coming on here like, oh yeah, because we're the LGBTQ and we're queer and this, that, and the third. And although I'm all for that, trust and believe, I'm all for everybody having their rights, women, everybody having their rights, period. However, I want y'all to recognize that Trump's influence, especially on the world stage, is very, very, very dangerous, right? And this is why I want to get back to motherfucking Joe. Joe that don't give a good goddamn. What the hell? What the hell could transpire as long as he is there to finish the job? Now, he was supposed to be a transition president anyway. He ran on the basis of, girl, let me just get in here because y'all don't want Trump. Y'all don't want that nigga. Right? Oh, can I? Girl, they ain't gonna be messing with me on YouTube. I can remove anybody because I'm talking politics. So when I talk real regular. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not about to be up here and no, like girl, no. So Joe Biden was supposed to be a transitional president. Okay, somehow or another that switched, and now he is here, and he is obviously cognitively declining, and he does not care if his voice is hoarse. He can't remember, and he don't know where the hell he is. He's going to stay in the race. He said, "God Almighty is going to have to move him out," and I just think that is so selfish because obviously you're not doing well in the polls. You're not doing, debating well. You're not speaking well. You're making these weird mishaps, and don't get it twisted. Here's the thing. I have an affinity for people who have speech impediments but still try, that still go out in public speak, because people who don't have these such things really can't even stand up in front of a room of their peers and and introduce themselves in a way with confidence. But to know and to go into having to stutter and you have this and you have that. I mean, y'all know I will butcher a word quick. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what? Cool, you have a stutter, you push through it, and I love that. But it's becoming bigger than that. Maybe 4 years ago, but I'm now introducing President Putin. That's a joke. And so I want to wrap this back into the NATO summit. Why this is so important is because the European countries who we are in alliance with have to feel that the people who are involved, us being America, the United States, have to have faith in one another. And if Joe can't stay up past 7 because he needs the rest, because his mind get the little, shit. I'm only in my 30s, and it's like 8, 9, 10 o'clock, girl, hit me up the mind. If you calling me with some shit, I gotta really think about it. Call me when I got a fresh mind. This man is 81. Okay? And he talking about some the party just begun. Child, somebody get Joe the out of there. So George Clooney done came out and said, Joe, listen, you got to not, whatever. Joe don't give a fuck. He said, I got to finish this because I started it. What? What kind of logic does that make sense? That's like me opening up a bottle of wine and saying, I got to finish this because I started it. No, sister. No, you don't. No, you don't. I just sat down and I just started a show on Netflix. I gotta finish this because I started it. Like, that's not always the best way to go. You want to see it because you want to see it through. He low-key always wanted to be president, though. Yeah, no, I think that back in, I don't know, whenever he ran the first time, way before Obama, I don't know, girl. I'm not a political girl and all like this. And I just know that he's supposed to run, but he ended up dropping out of the race due to a plagiarism scandal. This was back when he was just senator, the governor, or whatever the fuck he was. And so he missed the opportunity. He came back with Obama as vice president. And then here we are. You became president. And now you want to go all the way because you want to finish what you started. But people's lives are at stake, Joe. And I just think that it's so funny that people talk about, in the Democratic Party about democracy and what the people want and everything like this. You're obviously not operating on the frequency of what's best for the people. It's what you want. It's what you want. And he keeps saying, I'm the most qualified person for the job. Okay, sure, you might have the most qualifications, but are you equipped? Are you able? Are you flexible? Are you adaptable? Okay. I might know a whole bunch of shit about what can I use as an example? I don't know. I won't use me as an example. My uncle, he's older, right? He is the most qualified if it comes down to anything involving a car. He can cheat. Oh, you got it. That's probably the alternator. That's probably the alternator. Y'all remember that TikTok when it was like when the mechanic y'all don't make no sense. But he can tell you about the car from front to back, the wheel. Oh, you gotta change the gas spot. Oh, that's the head, that's the gasket. Woo, 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 woo. He is the most qualified person I know to talk about some car shit. If something go wrong with my car today and the mechanic is talking crazy, I'm gonna call him because I know that he's qualified. He understands. That does not mean he's about to put my car up on a jack, go up under it, and tinker with and fix some shit. Just because you're the most qualified doesn't mean that you're able to do the job, Joe. And you sitting up here like, you know, what? And then another thing that he mentioned too was he he said that, you know, it's not about his legacy. It's about American people. If it's about us, and you know, the nations, the European nations, don't think that you are a strong person, you know, we're talking, we're at several, we're involved in a lot of different situations. We're involved in Ukraine with Russia. We're involved with Israel and Gaza. And so our hands right now in the international platform, in the international stage, we got a lot of shit moving. And you're messing up people's names. You can't meet past a certain time frame. You tired and you got brain fog. You got to wait till your geritol kick in. Meanwhile, these European countries is looking like, I don't even trust this man. So let me make this side deal with so and so and so and so and so and so. And then that's how we look weak as a country. And I'm not saying that Trump is going to make us look strong, because absolutely the fuck not. I think that he should really just be like, listen, for the sake of American people, if you're a politician like you say, if you love America like you say, if you're the Democrat that you say you is, bow out gracefully. It's like watching one of your favorite reality TV stars get kicked off of fucking Real Housewives of Atlanta instead of knowing when to bow out. And y'all, I really hope that you know, if and when Joe does drop out of the race, which I'm pretty sure he does. He has until August. He has until August. And if he was being fair and not, you know, and I don't want you to think that I'm being like ageist or ableist, because I think it's a beautiful thing to age. You know, I'm aging gracefully. I'm not like one of those, oh, I'm trying to be a whole bit. I'm trying to be a young. You got to age gracefully. I'm grateful. He lived 81 years. People don't live to see 40. Niggas die every day. You know, and I think that it's hard to have those conversations with people that you love. Like, you know, yeah, you know, I understand you the expert, but I gotta get somebody else to go do this right now, because I want your knees to still be working. I don't want your back to be in pain, and I want you to be not in this heat, because it's a heat advisory and it's 90 fucking 5 degrees outside every day. You feel what I'm saying? It's like having a conversation with your grandparents. Like, listen, I know you taught me how to drive. You taught me the 295 and I-96, and you taught me all the highways and byways, but you can't really drive right now. I can drive you though. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where he's not, you know, bowing out gracefully. The American people are at stake. The on in our own country, one, our own rights, but then also two, from an international standpoint. You know, and we have Trump who went there. He didn't even say no type of policy. He was just there like, I don't understand it, man. He was just shading him. I have no policy outside of, you want to continue to be discriminatory against women, people of color, and people of the LGBTQ community. And you want to be a Christian nationalist, which that's a whole nother separate video, y'all. That's some interesting shit. And not even that, like, you know, guys, it's bigger than just, oh, women's rights and LGBTQ. Like, I'm talking religious freedom. You know, everybody's not Christian. Everybody's not spiritual. Everybody's not whatever. Like, there are Muslims. There are people who practice, you know, Hindu, like, you know, not Hindu, is a Hindu, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Like, there are other people who practice different things, and they're going to be discriminated against. That's not what we want. And you talking about something, this ain't about my legacy. This will be about your legacy if he does not do the right thing and give us an opportunity to have a candidate that we can at least feel halfway fucking decent voting for. That's all I got, y'all. I want to know what y'all think. I want to know if y'all are interested in this whole political landscape right now. I know a couple of us over here are. I know some new subscribers here that are, but I want to know your thoughts. Do you think that Joe can can win? Do you think that he will drop out? And I want to know how you feel about if Trump does become the president. And don't come in my comments talk about no motherfucking stimulus check. That's all I got. As always, girl. It's late. I'm sending you much love and much light. I will see you in the next video. Peace.